Marina or something like that with the San Diego Police Department. Lieutenant, are you there?
Yes, it's Lieutenant Tony Gimarino at the San Diego County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you very much for calling in. It is interesting to be able to talk to somebody from the San Diego area. How did you guys do with this earthquake?
Well, so far we seem to be faring well from it. Actually, most of the reports that I'm actually hearing from other media outlets as well. We're just simply not getting the volume of calls from people requesting assistance from the Sheriff's Department at this time. The only request that the county is receiving is really things to check on roadways for right now.
So you're still in what they call earthquake mode then?
So far, and in the time that's elapsed since the earthquake, again, I want to emphasize that we're just not getting any calls of assistance at this time at all.
And you guys really got rocked in April with the 7.2 earthquake. I imagine there's a big difference between what happened then and what happened today.
So far that seems to be the case. This one not quite as bad, and being that I'm a former LA native, I'm familiar with earthquakes. So this one just didn't seem like it was that much of a shaker and into the building that I'm in right now.
Right, but you did feel it a little bit, but just not significantly.
Yes, correct.
Have you felt any of the aftershocks?
No, I haven't. We're actually, our building is actually very earthquake resistant. Where you're actually talking to right now is our 911 center here for the county. And we're on a shock-mounted building here that's designed to withstand a fairly significant earthquake. And so what happens is that this building tends to absorb that pretty well.
Thank goodness for that, especially when you get a big one. So I imagine everything is good for you down in San Diego. Lieutenant Tony Gimarino, thank you very much for checking in with us. He's the San Diego County Sheriff's Department, and it is interesting to hear how San Diego is doing when it comes to this earthquake, because they just as well could have felt this as we did here.
Right. Well, sometimes these earthquakes can be powerful enough to affect electricity in Southern California. Let's see if that is the case, if there are any power outages right now. Steve Conroy with Southern California Edison joins us. Steve, are you there?
Yeah, Michelle, good evening.
Good evening. Any problems to report?
No, we actually have not had any calls from customers. We actually, I should say, we had a few calls from customers reporting the flickering lights, obviously in the Coachella Valley area at Borrego Springs, but nothing to report. Our crews, personnel have been out inspecting equipment, not only down in that area, what we call our substation facilities, but also our San Onofre nuclear generating station. And we've had no reports of damage or outages this time, so we've been very fortunate, and so everything looks pretty good at this point in time for us.
So when you guys go into earthquake mode, what exactly do you do?
Well, the first thing we do, obviously, we have a like most large companies, we have a very elaborate emergency response plan. So we actually immediately get our personnel at manned substations or facilities to do a walk down of those facilities, look for damage, and obviously our equipment is fairly sensitive, but none of our equipment relayed. We'll check the equipment. Equipment will actually go offline during a fairly large significant event. We did not have any of that this go around, fortunately. So we're doing pretty well, but if in a real extreme situation, we'll actually put helicopters in the air and actually patrol transmission lines, and we have a fairly large web of transmission lines in the Coachella Valley area, but no problems on the transmission system, which obviously will always create problems for service, but none at this point in time. The main thing we're trying to get to customers in the Coachella Valley and throughout the Southland is to remind them that obviously there's aftershocks that may take place. Probably not a bad idea to keep a flashlight or some emergency provisions nearby just in case, that we have a larger aftershock that could lead to service interruptions this evening.
Okay. Steve Conroy, thanks very much, and it's good to hear that there are no outages due to this earthquake. Just a few calls from people reporting flickering lights out near the epicenter. All right, let's check in now with Eyewitness News reporter Shubha Ravindran. Last check, Shubha was out in Granada Hills. Shubha, is that where you are right now? Granada Hills, Shubha?
Hi there, yeah, we are actually at, I can hear you guys. We are here actually at a shopping center off the corner of San Fernando Mission and Balboa. A lot of stores out here, and we've been talking to people as they've been coming through, see if they felt anything. I'm standing here with Bill Parr, and he actually owns a barbershop right behind us, and you were actually cutting someone's hair when that earthquake hit right before 5 p.m. Tell me what happened.
That's right. I was cutting hair, and I was thinking it was a client, and he was going forward, and he was telling me about his 4th of July weekend, and all of a sudden I wanted to tell him to hold back because he was going forward. Then we both started going forward, And I said, well, wait a minute, are you moving or I'm moving? Well, you know, we saw everything shaking and moving, and then it came to a complete halt. But it was the first one since I built in 1994, and I was sure for 71, and this one here was real strong and then but real quick and a fast jolt.
I mean, I've been hearing a lot of comparisons to the '94 Northridge quake out here, of course, because a lot of you guys were here when you felt it.
Right.
Can you compare it at all?
No, this was a quick, rapid shake, and then it ended up coming to a halt. And that's basically, I was hoping that it would stop, and thank the Lord that maybe it would come to a halt, because heaven knows where we'd go from there.
And I'm sure you've been watching our coverage, and this earthquake hit about 200 miles away out near Palm Springs, Borrego Springs. Is that pretty surprising to you to know it was that far away?
I'm surprised that it was that far away, and be able to felt this it felt like it was felt here close by, and everyone in the shop started shouting and wondering who was doing all that shaking, and wait a minute, it's a quake, you know. And finally everybody came to a halt. So.
And I'm really concerned because I know barbers have very sharp scissors. I hope nothing got nicked or stabbed or anything.
Nothing like that. No, everybody was fine. The guy was happy with his the results, so and so was I, and everything turned out fine.
He didn't have a crooked haircut, did he?
He had a businessman look, and he was happy with it. And he was hoping to race home to get home, see his family was safe.
Well, thank you so much, Bill Parr.
Right.
Again, a lot of people out here did feel the quake, again, since it was so far away, 200 miles away, and people still managed to feel a little bit of shaking. So we're going to be out here for the evening talking to people, and we'll bring more reaction to you when we get it. Reporting live in Granada Hills, Shubha Ravindran, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Shubha, thank you. It's a good thing that guy wasn't getting a shave.
Right.
That's what some folks go into for a barbershop. Well, this was along the San Jacinto Fault, which is a major fault zone in Southern California.
Thank you.
It runs for 130 miles through San Bernardino, Riverside, San Diego, and Imperial Counties. And I guess we shouldn't be surprised because we are told that that is the most active fault in all of Southern California. We have a number of fault zones, and for this to be the most active, that's significant.
And they believe that this was triggered by that Easter Sunday 7.2 quake that was in the Mexicali area. That this is not an aftershock. It's too far away to be an aftershock, but that it was probably triggered by that event.
And the good news is we heard the question that could this in fact affect the San Andreas and affect the big one, cause the big one, and Dr. Hutton felt that it didn't. It's not going to significantly affect that, which is great news.
Right. All right. Well, we have Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda. He's been talking to Dr. Kate Hutton today, and he joins us now with more information about this earthquake. Carlos?
Well, again, they're trying to get more information right now. They're getting information from all the sensors that they have throughout the area. And they did tell us that at first they thought it was a 5.9, then went down to a 5.7, now down to a 5.4. And they're still analyzing all the data to try to figure out exactly how all this happened. But you can see there in the map that they're showing us the big red square, as a matter of fact, that Dr. Hutton is pointing to right now. That is where this particular earthquake occurred. And if you look down to the bottom, you see all those yellow dots and blue dots. Well, those are aftershocks from the earthquakes that we had just a few months ago during Easter. And even though they're not necessarily triggered by each other, they're somewhat connected because of all the fault lines and all the areas in that all the fault lines in that area. So they're somehow interconnected, and she does say that possibly some of the smaller aftershocks over there may have triggered this one. Not necessarily something to be concerned about, however, as she was saying. It doesn't necessarily indicate that anything bigger is going to happen, but it is an area that they're always looking at because of all the fault lines and all the small quakes and aftershocks that occur there all the time. So that's what they're looking at right now, and obviously they're gathering more information, trying to figure out all of this out. But again, right now they have the number at this moment as a 5.4 right in Borrego Springs, a little bit south of Palm Springs, right in the area where you can see a lot of earthquake activity all the time.